people have lost a lot of money. This is what I believe is going to be felt. The way we think of Bernie Madoff or Enron or anything like that, I think this is the current version just in the world of crypto.
Ray, who oversaw Enron's financial scandal and has been appointed to oversee the unwinding of FTX, said, quote, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here."
Peter Schiff finally weighs in on the FTX scandal after his long silence. In today's video, he gives his take on the issue without mincing words. This is going to be very interesting and educating. Watch till the end so you don't miss any part of it. To stay in the loop, click the subscribe button below. Lots of exciting updates are coming soon, so turn on the notification bell too.
The big news of the week continues to be the Sam Bankman-Fried FTX debacle. In fact, as more and more evidence comes out, they've got the guy who ran the Enron bankruptcy restructuring, who is now in charge of FTX. And this guy said he has never seen anything like this as far as the degree of fraud and mismanagement. And this is coming from the guy who took over Enron. And this is much worse than that. In fact, a lot of people were saying maybe this guy is a mini Madoff. He's not a mini Madoff. He's bigger than Madoff. And he made off with everybody's money. That's the problem. On earlier podcasts, I wasn't coming right out and saying, hey, the guy was a crook. I thought he was, but I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've been falsely accused of things myself, so I know how it feels. But at this point, enough evidence has already come out that if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And this guy and probably a lot of other kids who were working with him are going to end up facing criminal charges. But I don't think it was just that these guys lacked experience. They were actually stealing this money. I don't believe that they didn't realize that what they were doing was theft. What they did, if you haven't already learned about it, they were taking the money that their customers were depositing into their FTX accounts. And they were taking that money, and in many cases, it wasn't even money anymore. It was tokens. They were taking their tokens over to Alameda Research, where they were speculating in crypto and losing because cryptocurrencies have collapsed. And so they were probably on the long side of that market, given what everybody believed for crypto. And so they basically embezzled this money, which is really what it's doing, because you don't have permission. In fact, they're representing to their customers that they're not doing that. Yet that's exactly what they were doing. But then they took that money and they gambled with it and then lost it.
Worse than Enron. That's how John Ray, the new CEO of FTX, described the operation ran by Sam Bankman-Fried, the ex-CEO of FTX. John Ray is no stranger to bankrupt companies like FTX. For over 40 years, Ray has been involved in taking over distressed companies and sorting out the mess to give closure to all parties involved. Despite his long experience, Ray says he was not sufficiently prepared for the level of mismanagement he met at FTX. It is terrifying that someone defined as worse than Kenneth Lay of Enron, who was ranked as the third worst CEO of all time, could have created a sketchy company and gotten many experienced investors to invest in his fraudulent scheme. The whole operation was so terrible that the $32 billion company was run by young, inexperienced people, some of them with questionable pasts. Sam had even made his 28-year-old girlfriend, Caroline Ellison, the CEO of Alameda, the sister company of FTX. Caroline admitted at a point when she was CEO that she knew nothing about cryptocurrencies, yet she was heading a cryptocurrency hedge fund with several $1 billion in its custody. It is therefore no surprise that when John Ray took over, he got overwhelmed by the lack of due process that was going on at the company. Peter Schiff thinks the problem went beyond the fact the executives were young and inexperienced. To him, the real problem is that there was an intent to defraud. He thinks everything was planned and orchestrated. Schiff does not agree that the problem is because the executives of FTX were young. He thinks they are criminals, and investigators seem to agree with Mr. Schiff. Right now, the Office of the Manhattan U.S. Attorney is preparing criminal charges against Sam Bankman-Fried and the crypto exchange FTX. The charges would likely be for defrauding customers. In a court filing, John Ray, the exchange's new CEO, criticized SBF's management style, and this may provide grounds to file a criminal complaint. The charges would border around the alleged diversion of funds between FTX and Alameda Research. Charges are expected to come towards the end of this year. Remember, the SEC probe over the possibility of misuse of FTX US funds is also ongoing. Also, the White House authorities recently said they were closely looking at the FTX situation. A White House press secretary said cryptocurrencies are harming the lives of average Americans. The White House views crypto oversight as an important issue, they added. Recent events in crypto highlight the need for crypto regulation, the secretary added.
Think about how ridiculous all the people who did check into it look, or pretended they checked into it and just invested blindly. If so many smart people in the crypto space could be so wrong about Bankman-Fried and FTX, maybe they're wrong about a lot of other stuff. Maybe they're wrong about everything related to crypto. The fact that they were so easily fooled by this con, maybe they were easily fooled by the entire con. Maybe everything about crypto is a fraud. But maybe Sam Bankman-Fried and his FTX empire was the biggest fraud, but it's all symptomatic of everything that's going on in crypto. And it should call into question the judgment of all these people who are drunk on the crypto Kool-Aid. They were so drunk that they were fooled by Bankman-Fried, but they were fooled by everything. The whole promise of crypto and Bitcoin is wrong. It's based on a lack of understanding of money and economics, but this is an example of where a little bit of knowledge is dangerous, because the people that got into it had a little bit correct when it comes to fiat currency and central banking, but then they misunderstood gold and they believed that you could replicate gold artificially with a string of numbers. I called it fool's gold. These were modern day alchemists, and they bought their own bullshit, and this is the result. But what's going to happen now is the rest of the investment community that initially looked at these people as some kind of cutting edge geniuses that were on to the next big thing, the next internet. And this really shows how foolish they are. And it's going to make it much more difficult to fool more institutions, even retail investors, to get into this thing, which is why it's going to implode. Because the only way that you can keep a chain letter going is with more chain. The only way a pyramid scheme keeps going is if you have more people, right? It's the greater fool theory. Well, there are no more fools. This is exposing that the fools are the ones that bought into this nonsense. And so now if you're still holding your crypto or your Bitcoin, then you're the greatest fool. There are no greater fools, and you are the bag holder.
2022 has been a year of reevaluation of crypto exchanges, lenders, and businesses as a whole. People like Peter Schiff are even calling for a total scrap of the whole industry. While influential players like Jamie Dimon agree with Mr. Schiff, they still think the technology behind cryptocurrencies are very useful, but the tokens are a scam. Several crypto companies have crumbled this year, and it has resulted in several billions in losses and affected millions of clients so far. What is the way forward? Is this the end for crypto as we know it? Like this video and subscribe to support the channel. We would like to see you again. Thanks for watching.